Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Now, today we have a special beer review in that it's a re-review. I don't do a lot of re-reviews, as most of you know. Usually, when I drink a beer I've had in the past, I just drink it, and that's it. And it could be macro, it could be micro, it doesn't matter, I'll just drink it. And even then, when I lived in the South where I could get as many beers as I wanted, I usually only bought new beers that I hadn't had before to try, and I would do the reviews of them. This is a beer I used to have a lot of. This was my first 10 out of 10 beer. This was the beer that got me into craft beer. This is Innis & Gunn Original. Now, we have Innis & Gunn Original because I loved Innis & Gunn Original. Like I said, the flavors on it when it came in that clear bottle, and it was the big clear bottle, the 650, and it was something special, and it was something to behold. And it was a higher ABV beer, and it had a lot of flavor, and it had a lot of flavor that wasn't really represented at the time. You didn't get a lot of barrel-aged beers when Innis & Gunn first hit Ontario. So I was huge into that beer. I loved it. It was a 10 out of 10. I always had some Innis & Gunn in the fridge. And then Innis & Gunn, I would still buy Innis & Gunn all the time, and Innis & Gunn would send me the odd 6-pack here and there because they're like, here, have a beer. And I'm like, oh, you guys are awesome. And then, even though they would send me that shit, as time went on, the beer started fading in quality to me. And the brewery kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was the concept of, is it my palate that's changed? Because they say that your palate will flip every 6 to 7 years. So was it my palate changing? Or was it the beer changing? I didn't know. But the last Innis & Gunn I had, the Innis & Gunn Original I had, I was like, it's okay. Was that because the quality went down? Was that because my palate changed? Was that because there was just so many barrel-aged beers around? I don't know. Nick from Innis & Gunn Canada, well, I guess it's Innis & Gunn period in North America now. He's like, hey, I know what you meant. I kind of felt that too. But the quality now is amazing. You should try it. And I said, okay. But I'm in Nunavik, man. He goes, oh. We'll see what we can do. And I got my hands on an Innis & Gunn. So here I have an Innis & Gunn to try. It's been a very long time since I've been able to say I shouldn't say it's been a very long time. The last Innis & Gunn Original I had, I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't love it like I did. So it's been a while since I've had one, because after that I'm like, okay, I won't keep it in the collection anymore. I won't keep it in the rotation. And then I moved up here. So it's been at least 2.5 years since I've had my last Innis & Gunn. So let's do a re-review. So the ABV is still 6.6. Aged 51 days. I don't remember if the original was 51 days or if it was longer or shorter. I can't remember off the top of my head. Master Brewer, Dougal Sharp Gun or Gun Sharp, I don't remember. It's Dougal Sharp. Okay? I'm being a dink. Approved by, and usually the approved by is a different staff member every time, which is really awesome. Most staff members end up getting their name on a can at some point. Product of Scotland. Okay, and it's canned, and I mean, that was a big change for me too, because I always had it in the clear bottles. I hated that it was in clear bottles, because it would be put on the shelves in clear bottles, but at the same time it looked really awesome, but I didn't like it. I stopped there because I heard a lot of fizz. But we're good now. Okay, we're open. So, they did send me an Innis & Gunn glass. I'm not using the Innis & Gunn glass for a few reasons. One, because I use it in a lot of my reviews now and it's dirty. And two, we're not going to do any favoritism. We're not going to do any extra product placement. We have it right over here. Look at it. It's right there. It's pretty. It's beautiful. It really is a nice looking can. I'll give them that. It actually is a better looking can than the old Innis & Gunn cans that were all red. I like the look of this one better. I do think And this is the thing, I know that craft beer and everything else is all about the pops, the colors, the art. I actually like the older looking stuff. Okay, so it looks a lot. Ooh, I just about fell there. We'll talk about that. I'll do another video in a second. It looks really nice. Clear, brassy color, slightly off-white head, big fluffy head. There is a snap crackle pop to it. It's a beautiful looking beer. It really is. I mean, I can't, like, look at that. Whether or not you guys like Innis and Gunn, that is an appealing looking can beer combination, and it's only in a mug. Think about it in a tulip glass or something. That would look nice. Scent. It used to have huge nose. Let's see what it's like now. Let's start with we'll start with the glass, because the can's usually more in depth. Let's start with the glass. They say on here, they say vanilla, toffee, and oak. You can get a little bit of vanilla. You can. And you can get a little bit of coconut, which would come from the oak normally. And you get a little bit of a caramelly note from the malts. Not really in your face notes. It's a lot more subtle than it used to be. I will give it that. It's a lot more subtle than it used to be when it first came out. That's more akin to what I remember. That's some nice vanilla notes. Oh yeah, the vanilla's there, the toffee is there. There's just that beautiful sweetness. Oh, the vanilla is just popping out of the can. You get this nice sweet caramel as well. You get the toffee. You get the beautiful toasted, roasty, malty notes. It smells divine. It really does. It smells. I wouldn't say it's the 10 out of 10 nose that the original had, but it smells damn good out of the can. Cheers. Let's try it. You do taste the oak. So that was one of my complaints about the last time I had it. The oak was gone. You do get the oak now. It is like the tongue depressor, and you get that dry, tannic woodiness on the back end of the palate. You get toffee caramel and almost like a Werther's Original butterscotch note that starts at the top of the tongue and works its way all the way back, and it's really, really nice. Slight bit of coconut pops at the back end before that tannic drying comes in. Vanilla encompasses. This is a little bit more of a chirpy beer than the original was, in that the carbonation plays a little bit more on the palate than the original. However, the flavor profile is quite akin to the original, save for it doesn't round out with the sweetness on the back as much as it originally did. Now you get more of that oaky, tannic taste. And I mean, I'm nitpicking now, but it's not the original, but again, it's the original was out how long ago? Maybe my palate has changed enough that this is what I'm picking up now. I like this beer. I really like this beer. Is it a 10 out of 10 for me? No. Is it a fucking excellent beer that if I was in the South, I would actually keep a 6-pack of Innis and Gunn Original in my fridge all the time again for? Yes, I would again keep many of these cans around because I really do like this. And it is a little cooler than I normally drink my beers when I review them, and that's only because it's now the winter in the Arctic and it's sitting in this here room, which gets cooler than the rest of the house because this is the utility room. And this thing here that everything's sitting on, this thing opens up to the outside to let fresh air in. And like right now, there's a lot of cold air coming in through that. But which it goes under the house. Like it opens up And when it opens up, there's a grate, well, a metal covering that opens on the top and the bottom, and then it's just a chute for air to come in, and then air is getting sucked through. So yeah, it's a really nice beer. It's a really nice beer. I like this beer. Out of 10 on this beer, you asked me even 5 or 6 years ago, this was a 10 out of 10 beer. And then it would have been a 10 out of 10 beer, even though I didn't fully think that the quality was the exact same 5 years ago. However, it was still a 10 out of 10 beer because I had so many memories of the brewery. I had so many good memories of it because of what it brought to me. It gave me an out. For those of you that don't watch the Heart to Hearts or don't keep tracking the vlogs and stuff like that, I was in a very dark place for a very long time. During my last marriage, I was suicidal. Hell, before my last marriage, I was suicidal. And I know alcohol shouldn't be something that brings you out of it. It isn't something that brought me out of it. It just gave me, that beer gave me something to latch on to and something to learn about and something to become very interested in, and that was beer and the science behind beer and the art of beer and all that type of stuff. It was all that type of stuff, and it was the intrigue of how things were done and how tastes were made and all that. It gave me something to focus on instead of focusing on the darkness. And so this beer has always had a soft spot in my heart. And then when Nick and Dougal gave the time of day to me and my buddies, because we were fucking idiots in a basement, and they brought us to Toronto to have a big old interview with them at a brewery, at a pub, and we shared a meal with them and we talked for like an hour and a half. It was awesome. And that was a memory that was built. And then Dougal was like, you know what, I like this guy. Hey, I'm coming to Canada. You want to do something? So we brought him to the house. We brought him to White's Tavern. He came to the basement to our set. And we did a bunch of beer alchemies, and we did a bunch of other things. And we pulled out one of the original bottles that I've had for years. And we opened it up and tried it. My dog's out there crying. All those... And I dropped my phone and had to pause it and restart it. So these two videos will have to get spliced together. So I apologize. But all of that helped build this beer up to something amazing. And then the quality dropped. And I tried to hold on to everything. And then the quality dropped a little bit more. And it wasn't that they were trying to make the quality drop. It was that they were trying to continue to make a special beer. A beer that existed for a specific reason. But they were getting so popular that it just kept expanding and expanding and expanding. And it was still a good beer. And I still had great memories of it. But it just wasn't the love I had. This has come back almost to that level. Not quite that level, but almost that level. And it reminds me of all the things I loved. It reminds me of having Dougal in the basement while we're mixing beers with him and we're making jokes and having fun and live streaming it on Justin TV and everything else. And it was a great time. Out of 10 on this, it's a 9.5. I do like this beer quite a lot. And yes, I'm telling you this whole story just so that you know that yes, there is more to this beer than just the flavor. And there should always be more to a beer for you than just the flavor, because a beer should be an experience. You should have that type of fun. You know what? I have a guy that always talks about how my beer reviews are short and all that. This was a long video. I bet none of you watched till the end. But this is what it is. Bye, guys.